The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PSP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now come rest. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right stand that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to our silent supporters. Happy Friday to everyone in the chat. And also a blessed Easter. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Easter so far. Let me just remind you, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. And a special shout out to all our channel members and also to the moderators. Tonight's topic is economic shocks with your host, Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie. And we have Melting Pot as well. Hope everyone is also looking forward to some quality rest on the long Easter weekend as well. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Doris McCoy, Ubuntu for Real, Daphne Bryan, Rosa, Barbara Giwa, Carla Ibanks, Dwight White, Matthew God Bless, Lorraine Taylor, Lionel McCormack, Muriel King, June, Freedom, Laris, Bless Up Yourself, Rosalie Ricketts, this thing is jumping. Fiona Burnett, Verna Mitchell, bless up, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Devon Fletcher, bless up, welcome. And happy Easter to everyone. Vernon Mitchell, welcome. Glenn Samuel and Marie McDonald, bless up, welcome. Without any delay, I'm going to hand over to Byron.
All right, thank you for that, Lady Mystic. Let me say, without any further delay, once again, an umbrella welcome to all people who are rolling in, right? Once again, we really, appreciate the fact that you're giving us the energy. Now, without any further delay, let me just have Brother Melting Pot just meet and greet his people. Melting Pot.
Yes, sir, Lord Byron. Greetings and as usual to everyone tuning in this night, Good Friday night, to the Mystic Sensation Live. I just want to extend a warm Easter holiday greetings to everyone as well, especially my folks them down in Ground Zero. I don't know how it has been, if any aid has reached you, this festive period of time. I don't know if the crime minister decide, well, I'm going to release some of them, social security package there. But I hope he had, some thought and consideration for the people that has been displaced by Hurricane Melissa, and should do a kind gesture by offering them a package of goodwill in this festive time. Also, bless up my people in the chat as usual. Big up yourself, Glenn Samuel, as usual. Winnie, big up. Yeah, Beverly, big up same way. Don't know everyone at the chat, the Mystic Sensation family. Big up to my UK fans them as well, tuning in as usual. I know I'm always, in touch with the Mystic Sensation program. And I know I always send love and blessing to Melting Pot. So, all blood and fire comrade around the world. You don't know, it's the movement of the late great Prime Minister of Jamaica, Michael Manley. Yeah, socialism must always remain on the forefront of any nation to get people together, participating as one in love and unity. It has to be socialism. I want enough love and respect to my 2 Mile Heights, them as usual as well. Both island. Boy, I must have said, oh, Melting Pot no go na shout out. Yeah, man, both island, man. Big up on yourself, man. I wanna say, man, Mackay Lane, Myrie Lane, Kukan Lane, Kid Lane, Norman Lane. Big up on yourself, Whitfield Town, Phillips Road, Alexander Road. Big up on yourself. Enough love and respect. All blood and fire, comrade. I hand back the floor to the host, Sir Lord Byron. Oh, my respect. Big up yourself, Sir Lord Byron.
Blessings.
The host with the most. You understand? And to technical director, Lady Anne Marie, boy, may I tell you,
So,
I would have big up on yourself, man, because you don't know how we run things around here. Mystic
All right.
Sensation Friday night.
Yes.
so
Blessings, Miss Melting Pot, as you're going through the crevices and corners, right? In terms of those environs, right? You see, people are listening to us throughout the length and breadth of Jamaica. Bless up yourself for that Melting Pot. Now, having said that, right, earlier today when I came on, we were dealing with the situations in terms of, right, Jack them and the pressure, right, some of the Philistines, right, who came up upon the People's National Party, want to pressure, right, comrade leader in terms of Dennis Garden resignation. So we have to push back. We have to push back on that, right, and let them know first and foremost, right? There's nothing in terms of Jack them, right, committed any crime, right, as the way they want to narrate it, right? Let it seem that, he had stolen, tax revenues. But just imagine Melting Pot. The people who are putting out this, particularly NNN, right? Isn't that the NNN, based on how we see it? They are the ones who stealing tax revenue.
billions of dollars.
No, no, it's so ironic, right? That they, right, are talking about resignation, and right. Where's their moral compass? But anyway, right? I want to show Jamaica the hypocrite. Earlier live, we call them hypocrite and parasite, right? And so then we extend ourselves in terms of this live, still calling them hypocrite and parasite. Now, look upon this as hypocrite. No, this is the real parasite. Now, Jamaica, listen to me. Earlier, if you notice, I didn't put up Cliff Hughes. I push out Tyrone, right, and Draws Davis, right? But let us look on the worst of them all, right? The worst of them all. Let us hear from the one who is definitely, right, a parasitic animal. Listen to this parasitic animal. As a result of him not paying his $1.5 billion, right? I mean, our social programs crippled. Social programs crippled as a result of this parasitic animal. Listen to him.
It's the night of Knight Samuels Jr. to write us that threatening letter. Also threatened Television Jamaica. Yes, threatened TVJ. And poor TVJ. Then catch them afraid. Yeah, them catch them afraid. And apologized. Yeah? This is how TVJ apologized. Yeah? To Jack Den and Mr. Dennis Gordon back in February. Listen to this.
Is involving the PNP's Region 3 chairman and Member of Parliament for East Central St. Andrew, Dennis Gordon, in relation to a procurement scandal. This information was incorrect. Neither Mr. Gordon nor any company associated with him has been implicated in the procurement scandal. TVJ News regrets the error and apologizes to Mr. Gordon for the erroneous report.
That was from TVJ back in February. TVJ got the same letter or got a similar letter to the one that was sent to us, threatening us. And they bowed. Yes, they fell in line and apologized. This was a letter that they sent to Nationwide. And we refused. We refused to retract our story or to apologize. Some of us in this business, you know, this is a hazardous profession. Yeah, hazardous profession. And they know this. And they try to intimidate. Yeah, they try to intimidate. They not only use lawyers to intimidate, they use all kinds of other tactics to intimidate and to pressure. Yeah? So on February 3, when we reported, we were the first media house to report that one of the companies so named as abusing the tax-exempt status of the University Hospital of the West Indies was Jack Den. We got this letter from Knight Junior Samuels. Read that letter for me, Miss Banton.
It says, "Dear sirs, read defamatory statements published by Nationwide News Network about Dennis Gordon and Jack Den Limited. We act on behalf of our clients, Mr. Dennis Gordon and Jack Den Limited, in relation to statements broadcast by your station during the past month and published on your social media platforms today, February 3, 2026, in which our clients are expressly named and linked to allegations purportedly arising from the Auditor General's report of an audit of the University Hospital of the West Indies. We are profoundly concerned at Nationwide's apparent failure to exercise even the most basic journalistic due diligence before publishing our client's name."
Can you read that line again?
"We are profoundly concerned at Nationwide's apparent failure to exercise even the most basic journalistic due diligence before publishing our client's name in disparaging terms as inter alia beneficiary of tax exemption breach." And that's a quote.
Yes.
"The wording of your publication invites your listeners and viewers to draw damaging and wholly unjustified conclusions about our clients. Further, the decision to publish those words suggests either an inadequate investigation of the Auditor General's findings or a deliberate attempt to destroy the reputation of a private company whose record of service in the field of healthcare has been commendable. Singling out the names of Jack Den and Dennis Gordon appears to have been deliberately calculated to harm their good reputation."
Absolutely not. It was not. We're not driven, motivated by malice in pursuing or reporting.
No, this is how disingenuous you are, right? Take him away, honey. That you are not driven by malice. This is how disingenuous you are. If you are not driven by malice, let me just ask you a question, Cliff Hughes. How many institutions, how many companies involved as it relates to so-called tax exemption? How many companies involved? There were 4 companies involved. So let me ask you, since you said, right, your mission was one of malice, right? Let me ask you, how many of the companies have you reported on? You knew then that there were more than 1 companies, but you single-handedly, right? Selective justice, single out, jack them. Now, since you said you have not been driven by malice, as it relates to jack them plus the 3 other companies, jack them as the least of the implication. The least. And as a matter of fact, all money as it relates to that variance has been paid up by jack them. And let me ask you, Cliff Hughes, then why then, if you're not driven by malice, that of the 4 companies, the 1 company with the least implication is the one that you reported on? So let me ask you, since you're not driven by malice, what happened to the other company? Right? That specifically where that company, right, had given the tax exemption, and not only given the tax exemption, right, UHII bought back items from that company tenfold. You have the information, because remember, you always get the pasa. You always get the propaganda material. So you have the information and you know the information. So let me ask you a question. It doesn't seem like you're in tune to report corruption. You are in tune to report propaganda. Now, the company in which I speak, where UHII, right, had given the company tax exemption, where the government revenues being robbed, right? A portion of that could have, placed into some social programs, right, or deal with some benefit where the country is concerned. But not only that, the extreme wickedness of the corruption in terms of kickback paid under the table. And remember, Cliff Hughes, right, that the board of directors selected by who? The board of directors selected by who? Christopher Tufta. You're not speaking on that. You're not speaking on that. Right? And that company getting tax exemption, and where UHWI turn around after giving them tax exemption, right, is paying for an item, right, buying back the item. Listen, confused. Buying back the item at the ratio of 10. Think of that, confused. So then, isn't that serious corruption? Isn't that serious corruption? An investigation might land that person in prison. So then, why you jump over that? You didn't see that? Come on. And here you are. Now, we are not biased. We are a solid, team of journalists, right? Who we deal with the truth, and we search for the truth. But what truth do you search for? You search for propaganda, right? You search for propaganda. And let us speak now while we are at it. So, Cliff Hughes, do you have any moral compass in speaking about tax exemption benefits? Think again, Cliff Hughes. Cliff Hughes, is it you really speaking about tax exemption benefits? If I am to compare the damage put together as it relates to the 4 companies, do you realize, Cliff Hughes, that it is not total the amount of money that you owed? 1.5 billion. Check again, Cliff Hughes. Check it. Check it. Do your maths, Cliff Hughes. Come on. Put pen and paper now together. Right? Yes, man. Run the mathematical application to it now, Cliff Hughes. The 4 companies put together, as it relates to tax exemption, still doesn't reach NNN total in terms of money owed. And guess what? The Prime Minister who you serve, bro God, allowed you to get away with this. And not only that, bro God, allow you to get away with this. Bro God participated in terms of dodging tax, robbing the country's revenue. So we want you to internalize that for us in your brain. Right? So as it relates to you and Andrew Ownless, and the amount of money you and your bro God not paying the country, robbing the country revenues, creating the budget shortfall, creating a portion of the budget shortfall. And here you on social media. Here you are on social media. You have no moral authority to speak on this issue. But you have no shame. You have no shame. Right? And even your despicable action, you can't see to have what we call an introspection. Look into the mirror, Cliff Hughes, before you speak. And let me bring in Melting Pot to hear Melting Pot views on the matter. Brother Pot.
Yes, sir, Lord Byron. Them guy enough to come talk about tax exemption and benefit from tax exemption. I remember said him not only owe 1.5 billion, him get 10 write-off previously. And we don't know where that quantify to. So when you add up the 10 write-off where him get and the 1.5 billion where him have you now, we could have look for about 4 billion in total. You understand? From him and him crime minister set up the Bandulu radio station where them have the mouthpiece, where them are use out there on a broadcast. Where we see 12.02 billion move from around the prime minister. My Jamaican people, most of that money go into this big nasty entity where Big Mama run for the thing called time slot. This is your prime minister from the prime minister's office. This is your crime minister. And that it should have read out. Most of that $12.02 billion were missing and accounted were done by the Auditor General from round of the Crime Minister office. And in the so it go. And the rest go up on ribbon cutting. You understand? So this garbage can't come out and come talk to nobody about tax exemption. Yeah? And the fundamental fact of the matter is that Jack then, yeah, no commit no offense, you know.
No.
Remember, Jack then have a contract with the University Hospital of the West Indies by providing janitorial service and also providing dialysis service. Yeah, them have 12 dialysis machine. Yeah, and them get the exemption for something where a benefit ordinary Jamaicans. Because them are provide the dialysis service for cheaper than where the university or the hospital are provided for. You have to also take into consideration, yeah, that them is also doing the government a service. And so the government should have given them a tax exemption for themselves coming through the government, not through the University Hospital of the West Indies. The service where Jack then are doing, it's unbelievable. Because when you look into the matter, the government have 24 dialysis machine. I don't know if all of them working. Because you know them just quote a number half of that broke down. But Jack then have 12. And them never run them thing under no secrecy. The veil was peeled back from the time you see them come and do the presentation where them tell you everything. It documented. Them is that an underground mafia company like Supreme Laundry and SMS and all that. Because them they are part of the four. And now the Big Mama don't speak about those other companies. But as you rightfully state, Sir Lord Byron, yeah, them get the exemption and sell back the thing to the same entity tenfold. That a corruption. You notice Jack then now sell back nothing to them. Jack them and provide them with service. So Jack them must be acknowledged for doing great service to Jamaican and taking some of the shame off the government. So nasty Big Mama will come out and speak in a little nasty language. Yeah, him can't come tell me nothing. Because him not credible to speak to Jamaica. You understand? And Jamaican must by now realize everything will come from around there so is propaganda. Nothing of any consequence or truth. Because them speak on a biased system and a liar method them use. So we don't want to hear nothing from them. Nothing. You understand? When you look now, him come and him I use this little scenario saying that letters was sent the same time to TVJ and for them little garbage mouthpiece radio station. February the 3rd, 2025. Yeah, TVJ apologized. Yes, TVJ did the right thing and apologized. Because TVJ is more operating on an independent platform. Your platform is tied to the Jamaica Labour Party. That's why you could not apologize. And you are still facing the wrath of that. Because when you hold fire in regard to supporting a corrupted regime, rightful patriotic Jamaican will not listen or support your propaganda mouthpiece radio station. That's why you can't make profit. That's why you can't pay tax. That's why you dodge and rob the tax system. Yeah, here the nastiness now, saying that TVG apologized, yeah, while them decided not to apologize, yeah, and citing intimidation and all these type of rhetoric. Yeah, intimidation from who? The People's National Party. Jack then, Mr. Dennis Garden, Marky G. Me don't know who I intimidate him. Who was intimidating nasty thinking dirty big mama? You see when them come out and them spew me lie, you know, me hold round and something knock him with the melting pot, you know. And you know, a pure heat come off of the pot. It hot. So me I gonna just put the nastiness in place. Because them the garbage there, you know. Yeah. Them not only rob from the tax revenue, you know, but them also rob from the taxpayers. Because remember the money where Andrew passed through that, you know, a taxpayers' money, you know, and them not do no work for that, you know. Absolutely not them not do for that. I mean, I tell my people, them say most of the 12.02 billion we cannot be accounted for from the Prime Minister office, most of that passed through this garbage entity. So, you know, saying him is a complicit to criminality. This garbage, we sit down there with some acrimonian people around him where the whole of them swimming in one aquarium. You know, some sea creature. Them need to go bathe them stinking self, man. Like the big dirty nasty one where you see move from them and gone at the Senate. Marlon dirty thinking Morgan. You will come out and a rush Marky G. Eh? A rush Marky G, you know. So him still carry the same behavior where him used to go on with Rona, Big Mama, in our Senate. Because when you listen to him, yeah, I say even if Mark Wolin take belated action, yeah, now against PMP Region 3 Chairman Dennis Garden. Because this Dennis Garden thing now give them a platform, you know. Yeah, for those Rosie Lee Hamilton comment on Donovan William. But all them I do is sit that place same way.
Destruction.
Yeah, destruction.
Destruction.
And this them I use now for those Donovan William corruption in a East Kingston. But no matter what them I do, that fire they still a blaze and now go stop blaze to now. But you know what we are gonna do right now, we are out this. Where Uno are run with. Yeah. So I leave Mr. Dennis Garden alone. Uno left Jack them alone, cause Jack them deal with them for deal with and clear up with them for clear up. And them in the clear. So I don't know how you can relate to somebody who has done the basic amendment and put themselves right on the straight and narrow. Yeah? Hear the garbage. Yeah? After I talk about Region 3 Chairman Dennis Garden, whose company is implicated in the tax exemption scandal. Him say now Golden prolonged inaction confirmed to the people of Jamaica that he cannot be trusted. But Mark Golden for trusted with. Mark Golden angle taxpayers' money. You know, so Mark Golden use them corrective method in a Dennis Meadow case. By Dennis Meadow just coming out and mentioning something in regard to scamming. So I don't know when I run with this ago. This not gonna win, no. This a garbage look on in front of me right now. And why me in the farmer is because this germ Jamal and Hagan come from Big Mama Actory. And him the one side I make a comment while Big Mama the one side I make the comment, but at the same comment them a make. Yeah? We know Mark Golden is a transparent leader of the opposition and soon to become Prime Minister of Jamaica. You understand? Him track record speak for that. That's why him commissioned so much laws, yeah, into place to safeguard the integrity of Jamaican, yeah. And yet still the nasty labor right them jump over all of the laws them, not have no regard for the law them, and I break the law them on a daily basis. You understand? So you're the garbage now to treat with matters of accountability, transparency, and probity. Now, them three words there where them are using, transparency, probity, and accountability. Them not have none of that, Them not have none of that. Remember them have for them own laws, which is criminality at the highest order. That them run off, and that become the commonality of them daily work. They're all thieves. Yeah? So big swat is stinking. Marlon Morgan. You smell like a moldy bag of cabbage down a Coronation Market. You need to go get some castic soda and some G's and beard your dirty thinking self and leave out of the Senate because you smell of Parliament. You shouldn't be in a Parliament because you don't bring the requisite requirement to Parliament. Use a propaganda garbage from day one from your own a Big Mama hatchery. And I don't know how you rise up on the back of your brother, Bug Life. Too much of uno twinning at the Jamaica Labour Party and mash it up. That's why Rosie have to call it out. Because Rosie have to call it for what it is, Because Rosie a veteran and knows even in a Seaga time, thieving never go on like in a Andrew time. And she also witnessed Bruce Golding time. And she said Andrew time bitter with criminality as it relates to thievery from the taxpayers' funds, displacing people's life from the community where them grew up in, using arsonists is very detrimental. Rosie don't take kindly to those things. Yeah? And Rosie don't take kindly to the people demanding $1.5 million from a contract when them get big salary, where them leader award them. So the whole situation surrounding the Jamaica Labour Party is that you can't put out no deflection using Dennis Gordon and Jack Den to cover the high-level corruption that is blowing all over member of Parliament them and the constituency where them represent. Because Rosie said everyone on our thief, That means the crime minister thief. Size 14 a thief. We know about Pumbas, my number one criminal. Agintai, same thief a whole heap of car money from the car deal for the police them. Yeah. Tough tongue and thief out the whole of the Ministry of Health money. Yeah. Him all pay a woman to enjoy lollipop. 80 million. One lollipop, people. Just for taste a lollipop, it costs 80 million.
Melting pot. Christopher
Yes,
Tufton thief. Christopher Tufton thief out the health out of the ministry.
Well, him thief that out of it, yes, the health not in it.
No. Thief out the health out of the ministry. Only the ministry left.
The man rubbish the ministry, the man. No health not in it, Hey, so nasty Big Mama, Draws Davis, Molly Cabbage Bag, Marlon Morgan, gonna need to go get something to do. And the thing we gonna need to do is leave Jamaican politics alone. Jamaican politics does not welcome nastiness like Uno. Was helped the leader, the crime minister, to destroy the Jamaica economy. To muddy up the red carpet economy where Portia Simpson hand over to him. And leave Jamaica with only one floor mat. And the floor mat tear up. Can't walk on again. The economy gone from under the people them foot. The people them can't buy a bread put on them table again in a 2 slice. Them can't buy a buckler oil again in a big jilla oil in a plastic bag tie up. Them can't buy a box of cornflakes, some cornflakes in a plastic bag tie up. And everything is almost half pound to quarter pound on them table. Now, if that's not suffering right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I also view the incompetence, yeah, of the leadership of the kleptocratic government in regard to how them deal with the Melissa victim them. Remember, they would hoard the things them, you know. The things them where the people kindly send to Jamaica for Jamaican, you know, hoard it up in our have it now in a warehouse. I distribute it how you feel and how you like to who you want to give it to. We see all the PR want to play out in the circumstance of Melissa. Yeah, right now, the crime minister sit down on 6.7 billion US dollar. Yeah, in assistant loan. And all him give the taxpayers out of that in a Jamaica is 10 billion worthless dollar to build back them life. Yeah. So we know everything we are going. And that's why we are teach the real politics on them platform. Yeah. We know in the propaganda, you know, we are taught the thing them as the thing them unfold. So we are related back to the people in a more chronological sense so them can understand where we are come from, because my Jamaican people, I call on the dunce, you know, where education is, you can read and write, and you can check, but uneducated where the politics is concerned. And there's some are educated, you know. We want to get bright with the politics and run with the nastiness them. Don't make them come bribe when you look a scandal bag and look few look what this $1,000 we can't go nowhere. And leave you out in fan for yourself for another 6-7 months or a year. That can't run on a life, you know. Me want to take the car and start the car and start drive the car now. Because the car need a driver. The Jamaican administration we are drive the car, them not certified. Them not no license for drive nothing. Them uncertified. The two head of parliament are uncertified criminal individual, and we have to call it out for what it is. So me I say to them garbage, wanna leave the People's National Party alone. Certain nastiness don't have the qualification to even call Mark Walden name in them nasty thinking mouth. Them smell like moldy cabbage bag. Yeah, nasty dirty big mama. You not have no standing to speak about tax exemption. Because your tax exemption, you know, currently stand at 1.5 billion. I remember you get 10 right out before. And I can quantify that to another 1.5 billion. So you're going to over $3 to $4 billion worth of taxpayers' money. So you will leave the subject matter of tax exemption. And I yield back the floor to the host, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Yes, yes, wifey. What you have to say?
Okay, when Melton Pot was talking and he was saying that one of their statements is that Mark Golden failed to act, and that shows that he cannot be trusted. How
Yes,
can
Colin.
Mark Golden act when no companies were named in the official report? It was just Tuesday that we heard the companies that were involved at the PSC meeting. So what did they want Mark Golden to act on? That's just what I wanted to add to what you were saying.
You're right, Lady Anne Marie.
Okay, I have a caller here. Just want to engage. So let me just give you the space to do so. No, you have to turn off the device in the background if you have any device on, because it is giving us a feed in studio here.
I'll turn it down.
Okay, yes. Go ahead, sir. Good evening, my friend.
And your lovely wife beside you, Mama. Big up yourself.
Bless
All
up.
right.
Bless up. Thank you.
Yes, no man. Big up the big man on the other side.
Melting pot.
Yes, no man. Melt up the butter them in a man. Just
All right.
melt over there. Melting pot, what's going on, sir?
Oh, you just I think he just stepped away for a bit.
Him step away for a bit. So yes, go ahead, caller. All right.
Yes, Mr. Misty. One of the things that I wanna highlight on is that why is they so adamant about Jack Den? he do, whatever Jack Ben did, he didn't into no corruption.
No. What they are inserting, they are inserting a venue of destruction, you understand, to cool down the rosy situation with Donovan Williams. That is what they are doing. But they need to speak up a little bit. Amplify your voice a little bit, because the people in the chat said you are low. They can't hardly hear you. So speak up a little bit. Yes.
You hearing me now?
Oh yes, nice and lovely. Nice and lovely.
Okay. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that basically what Jack Ben did, it was for the benefit of the Jamaican people. And if I could record, I could hear that when he come out and speak directly, that if it happened that he has to pay the tax, he will do so.
Yes.
So it's not like the boy Jack Ben did into any corruption or whatever.
You're right.
He wasn't in any corruption.
You're absolutely correct.
He clearly said that he will pay the money, and that's what he did the other day here, just a while ago.
Yes, and he did pay.
Yes, he did pay it. So now, what a big deal? Why is they now trying to hang this cloud over Jack Ben like as if he's the worst ever?
Well,
and they are not seeing the Prime Minister who Secretary Declaration for 10 freaking years, not certified. Why they are not talking about that?
Well, you see, that will show. Well, I mean, obviously, you see, as I said, they are not a medium that wanted to speak the truth, right? They are not a medium that is going to speak against the corruption. There's a medium. There are mediums that they are going to highlight propaganda. They're a propaganda machine. So they are doing what they were made to do, right? They are propagandists.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the next thing again I want to highlight again. The next thing I want to highlight again is the JLP women, the women them in JLP. You may talk to now. How can you women say that, oh, woman empowerment, woman empowerment, woman empowerment? We're going to stop with the foolishness, man, about woman empowerment. Because guess what? If it is woman empowerment, why you don't empower on yourself from the JLP party from beating a woman with a stool?
Ah, solid point. Solid point, God, a solid point.
Yeah?
Solid point.
Beating a leader that sit down in the house, that you JLP woman, on a bunch of ratness. I don't even know what to. I don't want to style because I don't like to style woman. Because your lovely wife is sitting beside you and I don't want you to feel like this boy I'm against a woman. You know what I'm saying? Melting pot. I want you to talk about that something, I know, man. I want you to dig some more into it. You see me, I said, because trust me, I don't understand how is it that they said woman empowerment, that's what they said. Choose Jamaica. So then choose Jamaica with a man who can beat a woman with a chair so many times and still put this man in the house over them to beat them at the same time. I don't understand. I don't get it.
But remember in a caller, hold on. Remember in a caller, remember that their original beater, you understand, both men and women. Remember that Seaga used to call one name? Call Desmond Mackenzie and give me 1 and 2 slap, what this boy? What?
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? Not only that him whop him up, You understand? This is what now Desmond Mackenzie is saying. That yes, he had gotten beaten from Edward Seaga, but Edward Seaga taught him good lesson. Good lesson. He has been taught good lesson, and he's proud of it.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine?
That is the reason why he allowed a member of parliament to beat a woman
exactly
in a chair and sit down in the house beside him. Okay.
Yes, man.
The next thing about it is, again, I heard that they're talking about, the next thing again I heard is that they are speaking about the PMP party about need to do more work, need to come and do more work. You know what I mean? In the behalf of the Jamaican people. But I'm gonna say this: what more do these people want Mark Golden to do?
I really don't.
Because
I really don't listen to them type of argument and give it any form of energy, you know, right? Because I mean, but you ask the question, what more do they want the party to do? What more?
exactly. I mean, like, if I can record Mystic, back in the last election that gone here the other day, there's a manifesto that come out
Yes.
that the PMP party put out. Trust me, that did lift my spirit to want to come back to Jamaica. Because anyhow, PMP party did win the election. If they never did, the GLP party never did thief it. I would be in Jamaica right now. I wouldn't be in Canada. Honestly.
Yes.
I would be in Canada right now. I would be in Jamaica. I would be starting my own business in Jamaica. Because it gave me hope.
Yes.
To want to do business in Jamaica again. You see what I said?
Yes.
Because I was living at 54 Linders Road. Right? I want to place to call him Jamestown. I don't know. Mystic is supposed to know that place. Don't know that place at Linders Road. Melting Park. You're supposed to know that place that you know.
Melting Park, know that place, man.
Know them, man.
Melting Park, you're supposed to know me I talk about.
Yeah, man.
Maxwell Avenue, when you turn by Linders Road, as you turn by Linders Road, right by your left hand side, by your left hand side going down. James, I place to call him Jamestown and they call him Big Yard. Kingston.
Yeah, man.
And you have
Them the body works. Them the body works and them thing there in the yard. Body works.
Yeah, Melting Pot, I tell you.
Yes, no, man. So you know exactly what I talk about Melting Pot.
Yeah, man. How are you acting, man?
And obviously, the people them around here, really and truly, you know what I mean, goes out for PMP.
Yes.
And I was a PMP navigator all the way, campaign right through Maxwell Avenue, come right up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And during the time when Peter Phillips was the MP round here, and Omar Davis was the MP down by Jungle, and you have David Bernard was the councillor for the Kingston 5. I guess you know that too, Melting Pot.
Yes, man.
Something.
Yeah, man. Crossroad region, retirement road region, I just am controlling go right back down, you know.
All right.
Well, I keep on 5 place.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know what more, as I was saying, as I kind of detour a bit, I don't know what more people want the GLP party, I mean, the PMP party to do. Because as I was speaking, Mystic, that the manifesto that PMP put out
Yes.
in the last election, that manifesto alone should tell people the type of leadership the PMP party is for the people, right? And that would have allowed me to want to come back to Jamaica to want to do something and to employ for even 1 or 2 persons to work with me. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The people that disband it, they leak out against it. Because when I heard people start to really debunk the manifesto, and I know me can't see where JP party manifesto there, what they bring to the table.
Garbage.
I don't see it, bro.
Garbage.
I don't see it, right? And they're now coming back to say, the PMP need to do more. What more do they want them to do? I mean,
exactly.
They're not in government.
All right. Hold on, Carla. Let me just give you another minute to wrap up because we have to carry on the program, right? So use another minute to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I'm saying, Mystic, big man thing. I don't know, but Jamaica is really going on into a pit, and a very deep one too. And it's going to take God himself to really drag us out of that pit that this party really pushed down us into. You see what I'm saying? It's going to take God himself to really remove us out of that situation, out of this situation. Jamaica is doomed to the pit. I'm going to heal myself right there.
All right, thank you. Well, people, you hear what the caller is saying. As according to the caller said it's going to take a divine intervention, right, to save Jamaica. But Jamaica, I think, you know, in terms of listening to us on a daily basis, we are presenting the truth to you, and that is one of the reasons why when we present any information, we go to the source and show you that it is not our perception, opinion, right? It is the source of the information, right? Just to edify you. And that is important. But now let us shift from Jack Den, because we are talking about Jack Den, right? Jack Den has done no crime. Now let us move, right, into areas, right, where crime has been committed and still committing, right? And so then, and let us move in the area of good journalism to show you how you have solid journalists who can deal with the issues at hand, the people issues, right, and put it out in the air, right, seeking answers for the questions being asked. And I would like that NNN take a page out of this young lady book, right? Look on solid journalism, right? Solid probity. Look at this. And I hope that, you know, NNN and all those who over by NNN, right, take a page out of this young lady book.
About his statutory declaration, here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
You know, the implication of this goes far and wide. Why hasn't it been certified? And does the public have anything to be concerned about?
You would appreciate that this is for the state of emergency.
Well,
and
PM,
so
you don't
those are the
here.
questions that we're entertaining at this time.
Hi, ladies, stop and leave the journalist alone. Professional journalist asking her question. You want to cut her off. You want to protect and preserve the status quo of corruption and shape the narrative, but we are dealing with emergency. The question need to be asked is right there. You understand? And the serious situation at hand is that we have a $3 trillion crisis, which Andrew Owners is a part of. So it's a solid question. Go ahead, my lady, and ask your question, please.
Are you giving?
Do you have questions on the state of emergency for St. James?
Well, PM, we don't see it very often, so.
Please let her answer the question, because I think that it is not fair to say that you don't see me often. Because we have met up on several tours and other occasions. The post-cap, just to be clear, the post-cabinet press briefing is for the ministers and the various portfolios. And I want to be clear that on all important matters, my government does provide the opportunity for information to be dispensed to the public and for our ministers to be questioned. And I'm very happy.
Hold on. Your government provide the opportunity for information to be dispensed? Let me ask you a question and let me take you on right away. Then why you execute Section 53, subsection 3 on the Integrity Commission investigators? If your government is dealing with transparency, if your government, right, is assisting in terms of the dissemination of information, why then you utilize Section 53, subsection 3 to muzzle the Integrity Commission? Why did you do it? Why your administration done it? Previous administration, Portia Simpson didn't do it. Bruce Golding didn't do it. They didn't do it. Right? In Portia Simpson era, when it was the contractor general, Portia Simpson did not muzzle the contractor general. In PJ Patterson era, when it was the contractor general, PJ Patterson didn't muzzle the contractor general. Bruce Golding did not muzzle the contractor general. This is another lie, but let me just answer this person and then we get to you. Oh, Bolo. Come talk to us, Bolo. Talk to us.
Mystic, I'm gonna cut your throat just to add quickly. Recently, remember,
Yes.
the situation with Donovan Williams. I don't know if you heard Desmond McKenzie and NNN. Basically, they might go put that as an internal matter, and
yes.
they have nothing to say. So if they were so transparent, why haven't we heard from Donovan Williams? why haven't he made a statement?
There you go.
I'm just, just to add to your point. That's all I
Blessings.
can from the day.
Blessings. Solid input, and solid as always. People want to make sure they don't go endorse a bowler, Solid work him out there they put out. Right? So this is what we are saying, and here you know telling lie in front of all Jamaicans who are listening. You understand about your administration, right? Aid in the dissemination of information. You understand free access, and you're willing to edify the public and so forth. The lies that coming out of your mouth. You utilize Section 53, subsection 3, and as what Bolo just said, right? You now take on the situation as it relates to what is coming out with Rosie, right? Exposing Donovan and exposing the belly of the corruption of the Jamaica Labour Party, right? You are trying now to muzzle that, right? And I can assure you, it's highly probably that we are not going to hear anything from Rosie again. What do we decide to do? We decide to what? PR for Rosie. We decide to bring back make sure that Rosie remain as a councillor. I'm going to tell me the compromise that you have done with Rosie. Because I told you guys, right, that you can't do Rosie anything. Because Rosie have the bill and receipt. Rosie have the invoice. She have the purchase order. Right? Yes. Rosie have all of that. So what I want to do now, you want to come up with Jack them, right, to cool down the Rosie and cool down Donovan serious crime against humanity. That is what you want to cool down. You don't want to speak about Donovan Williams committing crime against humanity. That is very serious, and we are not going to stop that. That is going to hang over you. We are not going to stop it. We want justice to be done for those people who Donovan Williams had dislocated, burning down their homes to convert those areas into commercial entity, feed into crony capitalism and neocolonialism. Right? Vicious. So let us hear good journalists. Right? So answer the question now, Mr. Corruption. Answer the question what the journalists ask you. This is what you call solid probity. And again, as Melting Pot said, don't let the word probity escape your mouth. Right? You don't know nothing as it relates to probity. So let us hear your response, right, from this.
That the post cabinet is being conducted routinely and consistently. As it relates to my integrity declarations, I too am concerned that they have not yet certified them. They have written to me asking various questions. I have provided answers, and they have written to me again, and I'm in the process of providing those answers. You will, however, appreciate that it does take some time, and particularly for me, to get 2 or 3 days to go through matters and provide answers. I simply have to be very frugal with my time. And I suspect the same for the Integrity Commission that have to go through several thousand of...
Stop right there, sir. Stop right there, sir. So let me ask you a question, Prime Minister. Now, Bola, me know say, yeah, look. Bola, me want you look on the data. Now, 2023 this. Melting Pot, now 2023 this.
Yeah, man.
So then, him still being frugal with him time?
No.
So then tell me now. The Integrity Commission investigators ask him to explain his illicit enrichment as it relates to his income, assets, and liability. right? They asked him before 2023, and he has to be frugal with his time, cannot answer as it relates to his illicit enrichment. Now, you know, melting pot, he could do Jamaica some favor, nice favor, by don't waste feed time. He could hand his friend Geico Lizard some of the information that the Integrity Commission investigators couldn't get from him. You don't think that would be a good gesture? So that Fid now can come out and say, here it is, Jamaica. You are accusing the Prime Minister as it relates to his statutory declaration. Now the Prime Minister, right, brought some documents to us. And when we look on those documents, we can now validate that the Prime Minister can properly explain his illicit enrichment. Why Fid cannot do that? Are you still frugal with your time, Mr. Holness? How long the Integrity Commission investigators, right, and Fid have to wait on you?
7 months.
Going over 6 years. You have to be frugal with your time. Remember, you know, Andrew Holness, that statutory declaration on an yearly basis, right? You take less than 2 days to prepare that. You can take less than 2 days to prepare that, right? And we can give you the month. But going over 6 years, you can't come up with no form of documentation to justify that you're a billionaire. You can't come up with nothing to justify the source, the capital injection that your wife using to build a mega mansion, a mega criminal enterprise at least flat, $800 million at the market value at the time when it was reported. At the time. That's supposed to go on over $1 billion now. Where your wife had broken all the regulations, the KSMAC permits, right? Do all of that wrong bang, and where you assisted your wife because NEPA in your office and overlook environmental breach as it relates to the sewage system. You see the level of criminality? And let me ask you, Big Mama, are you not talking about these things? You haven't seen these things to talk about? Draws Davis, Tyrone, haven't seen any of this?
Declarations, but I would expect that they would give some priority to my declarations. I do.
You expect that they would give you some priority? They would give some priority to your statutory declaration? Let me ask you a question. How much priority Mark Golding was given? I want to ask you a question. How much priority Mark Golding was given? As far as I know it, from 2017, every single statutory declaration that Mark Golding had submitted from 2017 had been certified by the Integrity Commission. And Mark Golding is not seeking any priority. Right? And I want to know how long, as you talk about frugal with your time. Just look at the slackness that is going on here. So, Big Mama, you accept this? Big Mama Draws Davis and Tyrone, I am talking to all three of you now. Mark Golding, from 2017, every single year, leading up to 2025, Mark Golding submitted his statutory declaration, and the Integrity Commission investigators, right, certified every statutory declaration that Mark Golding submitted. Now, the problem that the Integrity Commission investigators are saying to the fact that year 2021, year 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025, statutory declaration cannot be certified. The Integrity Commission investigators is saying to you that as a result of those statutory declarations that cannot be certified, none of the statutory declaration that you had submitted in the past can also be certified. That is what they are saying. Because this present situation affects the past and it will affect the future. So what the Integrity Commission investigators are saying to you, sir, under no circumstances you can explain the billions of dollars. Under no circumstances you can explain $470 million running through NCB in various accounts. Tell us how Imperium becomes profitable. Tell us how Estate Bridge becomes profitable. PHL company may I talk about it. Tell us how Positive Jamaica becomes profitable to give you those monies. Where did you get those monies from? SSL active. The corruption active. The drugs money active. And of course, you and your wife, right? Billionaires. So combine both of you together. Nothing can touch you in Jamaica, man. No other person in Jamaica rich like you. As far as me concerned, you and Juliet only at the top dog. You not sound like you know half a dog. You know the top dog. You run the turf. And the greed has not stopped there. The relief aid coming in and the relief aid being packaged, stored, taken out of ADPEM, going to respective areas. And of course, Donovan Williams had shown us the example of what other members of parliament are doing with the relief aid. Taking out the relief aid, giving it to who he want to give. And people who suffer, right, can't get their relief aid. What a job well done, Andrew Holness. What a job well done. Having your knees in the people's neck. The people can't breathe because of you. Let us hear.
Hope to be able to respond to them before the end of this week. So I'm hopeful that they will do their work and provide.
And you'll be able to respond to them by the end of this week. You'll be able to respond to them by the end of this week, sir. This was 2023. Today is what? Today is the 3rd.
April 3rd, 2026.
This is the 3rd. This is the 3rd of April, 2026. Melting pot.
Yes, sir, Byron. Yeah, man.
How next week so long?
That may I say.
From 2023 to 2026, and next week can't come yet?
No, it can't come for me, no. Come for everybody else, but not for him.
But I'm really frugal with him time. Melting pot, I'm really frugal with him time.
Definitely.
News. When quizzed about his statutory declaration.
Melting pot, you come in and speak because this is a prime minister. Theme week long, you know. Theme week done over 3 years, you know.
Now, one thing me have to tell Andrew, you know, the crime minister, you know, him lucky at the Integrity Commission I pursue film case for me all the way back from 1998. Me I go back all the way to
Hold on,
1990.
melting pot, hold on there. Look what Kingston said. Look what Kingston's story said. Kingston's story said, he said that next week, not which week. Kingston's story.
Yeah, man. Him never specify which week, him just say next week. But this guy, you know, this guy are dangerous, you know, in a society in a Jamaica, you know. Because this guy, we can't tell my Jamaican people, this guy never have no ambition to be prime minister. This guy only ambition was to be a top criminal in a Jamaica. A man who have the access, given the trust by the people to steal the money. You understand? Because the people them trust him with the vote, you know.
Yes.
Them give him the support we need because him lie to them and trick and con them. And them never really have no really, you know, insight into this young Jamaica Labour Party upcoming Prime Minister where Seaga did put out upon the shopping list. You understand? So them excited about that, you know. And want to know if when bring to the table. So them work with him. Even Sheldon with brethren work with him. And Sheldon yet him like a dose of pies right now. Can't trick and con everybody. But a brother and Nancy, man. You understand? Alright. But for sure the guy is stupid, you know. Yeah? Him on size 14, you know. Because remember, you know, the two of them are par long time before even politics come on the table, you know. Them are schoolmate. Them are parishioner. You understand? But look how the two of them dumb. Them feel like them could have come, yeah? And use whatever calculated method them have with them premeditated or to come run Jamaica and it just go unnoticed. Them never realize that technology becomes a part of everybody day-to-day activity. So there's no way him could have get away with the crime when him commit. And him is a liar, first class liar, you know. And the world greatest liar. Remember the man that look you straight in your eye and lie, you know. And him know say you know the truth, but him lied to you. So him very pugnacious with that. Now, as what Kingston story said, for him we can't come because him never specify which week. But we are going to make Andrew, the crime minister, know say, Marky G said time come and your week will have to come in at this period of time when we have 28 strong PMP comrade inside of the House of Parliament. You know, see no eat start turn up yet. People are saying Marky G and the PMP them now work. I'm glad how I see them and move the locomotive, man. You see when the steam after the engine rise to the crescendo and we start see the wall round Andrew Holness a fall down, you know, going to know say Marky G at work. Remember Marky G can't I'm already, you know. And every confrontation with him and Marky G from the debate time, Marky G knock him straight out. From round one, Marky G just a beat him. It's only a matter of time before him crumble. You understand? See Rosie now, I beat them too. So them a get in and out of beating. It's only a matter of time. Andrew Holness activity, yeah, it's well documented. And so, me create a merman at my Jamaica people. Yeah, the result will soon be on the table. All who are back this piece of garbage are the crime minister, you know. Remember, no, sir, all who not do is incriminate on yourself, you know. Guy called Lizard and company, Big Mama and the whole of them. Remember, who not go down with him. You can't be a part of the empire of corruption, and when the empire fall, you stand up. All of you not go down with him. We are going to make it be a priority that all and sundry who is involved with this crime minister will also go down with him. Member of parliament alike, civil society, individual and groups, ordinary Jamaican people, A whole heap of people are drowned with him. So I would advise, my Jamaican people, them say, when you're on in a lion mouth, you must take time and take you out. And right now, no on in a more than lion mouth. We don't need to take time and come out and start speak like Rosie. For we don't know a lot. We no better seek some form of retribution from the People's National Party administration because time must come. And I know Marky G and his member of cabinet at the time when they formed the government will work in tandem to bring justice that the people of Jamaica requires for more than a decade. You see, as Trek 5, she have to come back, She have to come back. Come face the music and dance to the tune. She have to. If she not come back for no more case, she have to come back for Gabriel King case. The little 9-year-old where him throat slash. In the presence of his mother, who refused to hand over her mobile phone for a ballistic test. And that case just gone, forgotten. But now, we in a social media we remember those cases. Yeah, and others. Yeah. Romario Sterling, one gunshot to the head, and we hear say a shootout. Yeah. I would say everything. We see man being led to one side of his premises and told to kneel down with his hand on his head. And my God, there was only one more sound for that young man to hear in life, and it was a sound of a bullet. He never hear nothing more. Okay, I will know about several more that Strike 5 has allowed to go unnoticed because she complicit to how the country are run by the Prime Minister and his regime. You understand? So, Andrew can go and play like him, some little type of EBGB individual and play with the country and the Constitution. Remember, the Constitution, it uphold the law, And you can't come as a little garbage individual come tear down the Constitution, whether they're from 1944. You understand? That bigger than you and size 14. Now this man has exhausted so much time. Yeah, that him feel like say the Integrity Commission have a last track. No. We see them carry out some act of atrocity. Where, individual get gunshot because them have a briefcase. And that time arise in the height of an ongoing corruption. So that alone expose Andrew Holness administration as a crime entity and a corruption base. Because people can remember, when the man gets shot and the briefcase was stolen from him, Yeah. What was happening at the time? What was the big news on the burner in Jamaica? It was the SSL saga. You understand? The SSL saga, I remember a whole heap of other activities around that. The same place on Constant Spring Road, where computer and laptop was, in place. We used to that get robbed. And them things they gone. We used to all cybercrime up at the Crime Minister house. Lie. People that was a domestic affair. We would have never believed. Size 14 gave him some left, right, uppercut, jab, hook. Yeah, and them turned that out into a cybercrime. That was a domestic affair. That very day, up in house, up in mansion. Because like him do something wrong. I remember size 14 are the boss, and Andrew are the boss. Andrew do something wrong. And it caused a heated conversation with him on size 14. And when the fist them a thump and chew and all type of blow a reach Andrew, remember when the security them come up there because them big and shame and worthless, you know. Him reported to be a cyber crime by the security them up there. Yeah, bomb scared attack. Nothing like that. Where was the bomb unit? Where was the bomb unit? So people don't want to know where I'm going in Jamaica, man. We don't want to know where I'm going around the whole in this them. Right now, a tag of war in them household where them living. Because man drop him yard and make things we expose when of expose. And it's like size 14 did have it away where she have it locked. Size 14 did come say them did broke one time them wedding, but Andrew did have 47 mil. So from there, so things not sit well in the whole in this household, you know. Because true we get on to the story and we have beat it, you know. Size 14, she said, well then, this guy and really have him head screwed on on him body, him chat too much, him too enough. You understand? Him leak certain thing when he leak. So now and then him have to feel the wrath at size 14. Him can't manage size 14. Nothing with size 14 do. Him can't reprimand her.
Right.
She reprimand him. So the whole activity surrounding the holiness them is that they are slowly but surely reaching the end of their time. Everything is being exposed. Walking out there, even them one in a party affiliation, you see it come out to the public. You understand? And this will bring them down. Right now, I know 90% of the labor right them not trust them again, you know. We can't tell anybody that. 90% of labor right don't trust the Andrew Wellness administration anymore. Andrew is merely clutching on to straw. But the straw cannot uphold theme principle. You understand? God, up to the straw, afraid of Andrew Wellness, you know. Up to the straw, we know is a lifeline when you are drawn, you clutch on it as well. We come here about. Up to that, afraid of him, scared of him. This man take away everything from Jamaica people. And what is so, you know, hypocritical about the whole idea of what him do is that him take it and give to foreigners. Take it and give to foreigners for his own protection. Because the foreign people them have certain line of intelligence upon him, you know. And Jamaican need to understand that's why the beach gone. The beach gone.
Use another minute to wrap up that. You understand? Use another minute
Yes,
to wrap up that.
the beach gone as a result of Andrew Wellness. Yeah, being compromised to a lot of high-level corruption as it relates to drugs, guns, ammunition, everything. Because when you run your country, you know, if your country become tarnished with any of these subject matters, you know, it's on your shoulder, your responsibility. You're supposed to make sure no say you guard real the sovereignty of your country by being not what? Complicit or compromised. You must be a clean, upstanding leader so you can protect the rights of your country and your citizen. Yeah, that's why him couldn't stop the exodus of the Cuban medical staff and technician. Him have to let them go because I'm compromised. And I back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Bless up for that. Okay, all right. Let us sort of go back to the track as it relates to statutory declaration certification. So to the fact that the Prime Minister couldn't explain his statutory declaration or get his statutory declaration certified. Look Jamaica in terms of what the Prime Minister had done. To the fact that there is no way, shape, nor form which he knows that he cannot get his statutory declaration, no matter what. There's no form of documentation can help him. You understand? He's caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Look what the Prime Minister had done to the fact that he can never get any documentation to certify him. Look what the Prime Minister had done. This is what the loser This is what the loser did. Court fight. Right? Because the 3 weeks, the week that he claimed that by now he would have explained, can't explain. So he run to the court fight. Owners want section of law governing illicit enrichment probes declared unconstitutional. Now, Jamaica, this attempt to destroy the illicit enrichment clause in the Corruption Act should tell every single Jamaican, that this man is a criminal. This attempt that the Prime Minister had done should have now told every single Jamaican, give every single Jamaican the awareness, right? Sensitize every single Jamaican to say, why on God's earth a government that deals with checks and balance would want to destroy the illicit enrichment law within the Corruption Act? Why? This is what something similar like what Donald Trump would have done. And so then him and Donald Trump work hand in hand as it relates to corruption. Why on that earth? Right? That you'd want to do something like this. Totally unbelievable. But let us read it. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has asked the Supreme Court to strike down a law used by the Integrity Commission, right, to probe public officials. You know, listen, people. Listen to the paragraph, you know. Listen what the Prime Minister wants to do, you know. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has asked the Supreme Court to strike down a law used by the Integrity Commission to probe public officials for illicit enrichment. So you know what? The Prime Minister just want the members of Parliament, you understand, to steal, right? Commit illicit enrichment and not being questioned because there is no illicit enrichment laws to curb their behavior. And that the Prime Minister is asking for. People, and that is what the Prime Minister is asking for. Right? Calling it unconstitutional. A ruling in the head of government's favor could affect investigation into 8 parliamentarians. This is what the Prime Minister wants to do. Because of the 8 parliamentarians, it's gone about 12 now. And still we can't hear who they are. Right? And as my wife said, we positively know 2, Andrew Holness and his wife. Right? Because he wants to hide and protect parliamentarians that commit illicit enrichment. This is what the Prime Minister had done. And so then, Big Mama, let me ask you a question. Have you asked Andrew Holness why did he make this attempt? Tyrone, Draws Davis, he said, you're a brave journalist. Then, Draws Davis, if you're a brave journalist, why you don't ask the Prime Minister to explain the reason as to why he want to get rid of the illicit enrichment clause, right, in the Corruption Act? Why you don't ask him to give you reasons as to why he wants to do that? And ask him that if you remove the illicit enrichment, right, how is it that politicians who enrich themselves, illegally enrich themselves, is going to be held accountable? Let me share the question for you, Draws Davis, right? Because you said you're brave, you know. So I want you to take some pointers and show, say you're brave. Ask the Prime Minister this. Why he wants to move the illicit enrichment laws within the Corruption Act, so that if politicians, right, illicitly enriching themselves, there shouldn't be no probing into those illicit enrichment. That is what the Prime Minister has done here. Onus also wants the court to gut unspecified provisions of the 2017 Integrity Commission Act. Mighty God. Given the lack of fairness, impartiality, and independence in the exercise of the functions of the divisions and the commission as presently structured. Wow. Those two are among 21 declarations or orders that Onus is seeking in an application to the Supreme Court to have an IC investigation report into its financial affairs rejected. You hear what the Prime Minister is asking for? The Prime Minister wants the Supreme Court to have an IC investigation report into his financial affairs rejected as unlawful and unfair. What is lawful and unfair if the Integrity Commission investigators ask you, Andrew Onus, to explain your wealth as it relates to your income, assets, and liability? What is unlawful with that? And what is unfair? So, Charles Davis, Mr. Brave Charles Davis, can you ask the Prime Minister, Charles Davis, as it relates to the investigation report into his financial affairs, that he claimed that the investigation into his financial affairs is unlawful and unfair? Can you, Charles Davis, ask the Prime Minister what is unfair? Have him point out what is unfair and unlawful as it relates to the Integrity Commission. Now, the IC's report dated August 30, 2024 was released by the House of Representatives on September 17. I believe that the tabling of the report was intended to embark. Now, this is what the Prime Minister is saying. Let me open quote. This is what the Prime Minister is saying. Now, listen, people. Listen to this calamity. Why we have this man? Now, Jamaica, let us be real. Let us be real and rational. Can you imagine a mayor? I'm not even talking about the President of the United States. Can you imagine a senator or any one of them in the United States make an application to get rid of the illicit enrichment clause under the Corruption Act? Let me tell you something. That individual would not have a job the following day. That individual. Where else something like this could have happened? Not in any first world country. That the Prime Minister, could this happen in England? The Prime Minister of England challenging his own anti-corruption authority, saying that they need to remove the illicit enrichment that probe into members of Parliament financial affairs. Just imagine what the Prime Minister asks. Imagine what the Prime Minister asks. Hear the Prime Minister. I believe that the tabling of the report was intended to embarrass and cause harm to me, and as such was made for an improper purpose and in bad faith to prejudice and harm me. Stop right there, sir. Let me ask you a question, Andrew Onus. So the situation with Azan, where you came out, right, and you big up the contractor general, and you applaud the contractor general to do the investigation into Azan. Let me ask you, do you believe that the investigation in Azan was intended by the Integrity Commission to harm Azan? Prime Minister, I want you to answer that question. You know. I would like for you to answer that question. You know. Let me ask again. Do you believe that the investigation into Azam, right, did not go through the appropriate channel in terms of building those huts for those poor people? Azam did not do anything wrong. But let me ask you a question as it relates to the Integrity Commission, to the fact that he goes contrary and break the policy. The Integrity Commission pursue him, right, accordingly. So let me ask you a question, Mr. Onis. Do you believe that the Contractor General then, right, prejudiced themselves by, maliciously pursue Azam? I would like to hear your answer. Alleging further that it sought to impute criminal and unethical conduct to me and other applicants. So let me ask you a question, Prime Minister. Let me ask you a question. As according to you, alleging further that it sought to impute, right, criminal and unethical conduct to me and other applicants. So let me ask you a question. Simple question. As it relates to the 2022 statutory declaration that you have submitted, right? And we see the time frame on the window as it relates to the investigation, where you put $470 million, right, through NCB. You're laundering $470 million through NCB. You did not show 470 million on a statutory declaration, sir. Your 2022, let me remind you, statutory declaration said you have $200 million as it relates to income, assets, and liabilities. So what happened to the 470 million? What happened to the 470 million? And what happened to Juliet Owners Complex? 800 million, at least flat. Prime Minister, you have already gone over $1 billion, right the same. You've gone over $1 billion, just right the same. The application by owners is company Imperium Investment Holdings Limited and related entities Positive Media Solutions Limited and Positive Jamaica Foundation Limited. A charity for permission to seek judicial review was filed on September 30. A judicial review allows the court to scrutinize processes used by a public authority to make decisions. The respondents are two senior executives of the Commission, Director of Information and Complaints, Craig Berris Ford, first respondent and Director of Investigation, Kevin Stevenson, second respondent, and the Commission itself, third respondent. Owners wants the court to reject the report as unlawful, unfair, and premised on an unconstitutional provision in the Corruption Prevention Act, which you couldn't prove. And that is one of the reasons why you have lost this case. Take this away. So people, there you have it. The high level of criminality. The high level of criminality. Now, let us look in terms of how the propaganda media like to cast blame. Let us get into this. Let us get into how the propaganda media don't see corruption. As I said, they don't see corruption, they see propaganda. Listen to this, Jamaica.
The political clientelism in those communities are the way they are because of the political structure of those communities. There's no coincidence that the highest murder rates in Jamaica are in the communities with
The
the
strongest
highest
seats.
with the highest voter turnouts.
Ah,
That's not an accident.
wow. You know,
That tells you something very profound. When politicians of both sides, it's not one party or the other, are willing to let go of the safety of those communities' votes, then we're going to be able to have a chance at those communities knowing peace and getting rid of those criminals. We have to break the political clientelism in those communities.
People want to listen as it relates to what she's saying, that the strong voters bloc, right? She recognized them as criminals, and they are the ones who are voting for the political parties. And so then what I want to ask this lady, and what I'm going to present, is for this lady to show us or tell us in our entire history, our entire life, as it relates to the level of criminality, what Andrew Holness had done. Enrich himself with billions of dollars. Which criminal in Jamaica, the entire history of Jamaica, had done that damage? And you are asking now the criminal Andrew Holness, casting blame on the community, the very same community that voted for them, the very same community that Andrew Holness is impoverishing. You are now looking at the community and scorn them, that they are no good. You are now saying that politicians need to let go of them. They are no good. That is what come out of your mouth. So you use and abuse them. And politicians rob them. Cripple their social programs. Cripple the education system. And you are saying now that the politicians need to arc and pick them out because they are no good. Isn't the politician who promised leadership, who promised prosperity? Have you spoken as it relates to Andrew Holness robbing investors through Cash Plus, Holent, and SSL? But this is how you, neo-colonialists and crony capitalists, are in the bubbles. You who live in the bubbles. You same one who live in the bubbles. Plunder from the poor. Use them and abuse them and reject them. This is what you're asking, for them to be rejected. As long as those politicians, those who you call and who you are defending, the Andrew Holness, the criminal in parliament, who rob up taxpayers' monies, do all level of criminality. Can you tell me which Jamaican criminal that have done the worst dilemma to the Jamaican people? Tell me which Jamaican criminal you know. Let me show you this. Let me show you this in terms of what came out of your mouth. Let us go to the first document. Document 1 and 2. Let us do this and show them. Can you imagine, Jamaican people? Look at this. Look at this. This is what we are talking about. Right? When it comes to, this is it, Mr. Holness. Here it is. So you who claim that, right, politicians must decide to let go of those votes. This is what is here, 2018. The Prime Minister total assets, $112 million. 2019, 111. 2020, in the height of COVID, 131 million in the height of COVID. Andrew Holness is making money. Andrew Holness, where did he, which one of the company that Andrew Holness operate to make profit in the height of COVID? You're not seeing what is going on here? The height of COVID, The Prime Minister is making profit. 2021, look at that. Look at that. 2022, the Prime Minister total asset, 200 million. Put up the next document. Let us show them something. What are you coming with? You show me the criminal that have done worse than what we are showing now. Show me the criminal in Jamaica that done that. And here it is. See there? Let me show them. We are not telling any lie on the Prime Minister. There it is. Look at the table of content. June 20 to 2023. So 2022, when the Prime Minister telling the Integrity Commission that his total assets is $220 million. Madam, who claim that the politicians must cut away from Andrew Holness. What is this? The $473 million this? Eh? The $473 million this the laundry through NCB. Come talk to me now. Which criminal in Jamaica done something like this? Which other criminal in Jamaica done something like this? Andrew Holness is more criminal than who you are describing. And as a matter of fact, Andrew Holness is robbing them. Take that away. Now, what say you, melting pot, on this mission?
Well, this is a mission that has been ongoing for an awful long time. But, you know, it's a simple mission because we have the timetable, you know. Yeah. Income, asset, and liability. We have all of that. And when Andrew had declared 200 million in a 2022, yeah, just look, within another year by 2023, the guy have 473 million. And we are talking about that is on the back of the COVID outburst. But you start see him rise, him stock a rise from, you know, the COVID height. And we know say Andrew couldn't amass all of that money, even if there was never a COVID inside. Him couldn't amass that. Remember, at one work we have the guy doing, you know, and we are paying him a salary. Yeah. So there's no way from 2016, he being the Prime Minister of Jamaica, to this point in time, that him supposed to have so much millions surrounding him. And at the same time, when we are look on this timetable, we don't see the development them where him and his wife are carry out. That not upon the timetable list where we are look on. That have never been submitted to the Integrity Commission. So there is no way him can, you know, cite out any allegation, yeah, that him believe that tabling of the report was intended to embarrass him. Yeah? The report of the table and the table for everybody. So why would Andrew specifically say tabling of the report was intended to embarrass him? Yeah? And cause harm to him, and as such was made for an improper purpose and in bad faith. No, the rules and the laws are what is there to constitute transparency. You understand? And him now hold up to film bargaining, you know. The Integrity Commission, the mafia wait for him. And him fugal time, or him want to use him time. You understand? And that no look good. And as Byron rightfully said, nowhere else in our true democracy society you'd have a Prime Minister where him statutory declaration cannot be certified and him still hold the post of office. He would have to relinquish that. And he would have to face thorough investigation. And if found guilty, me sure know him would go behind bars. So the whole aspect of what Andrew Holness are trying to do in Jamaica, it is plain to see that Andrew Holness is trying his utmost best to hide him corruption by using strategy along the line where the Integrity Commission is concerned. You can't ask them to take out certain things out of the law. Yeah, that cover the Integrity Commission to suit you as an individual. No, you can't do that. We saw him try in 2017. Yeah, asking to report unspecified provision of the 2017 Integrity Act. You can't trouble that. Not because you're Prime Minister. The right thing that you're supposed to do is submit what you have that you know say you are in control of, and it attach itself to the principle and the law of how Jamaica is supposed to run. And you have so much shell company that has never been declared. Yeah, so much underground ways of money have come to him. Him can never be certified. And him can't tell the Integrity Commission, say, at them where them I get the money. So what him do, him hide everything. But then you see where him stock rise. And so you have to go in and go investigate him. You have to investigate him. How can Andrew hold this? Yeah? Within 1 year, move from 200 million to 473 million. Oh, at a time when there is no, global trade that going around the world, and you don't have no factory where we know about, where we do manufacturing. And no, Andrew business was not privy to the people in Jamaica, you know. You go hear say him have this and him have that. He has never declared them, not even the trucking empire where him have. That not declared. Me don't know how Andrew go declare. Me sure know the Integrity Commission does not know about him trucking empire. They won't mention about the taxi. What about the truck them, Andrew? Where the backside levy was exchanged for the contract. And all those trucks that you have down there now. Your wife just recently buy 8. I hear them have truck water. A whole heap of thing has not been declared. So the holiness cannot be certified. And Andrew is only trying to exhaust the Integrity Commission time. Yeah? By using them always use a thing named statute of limitation. But this not apply right now. And them thing they done within a Jamaica, you know. Them thing they for come off of the book. The statute of limitation. Them I use it for try to protect so much of them thieving allied. It's unbelievable. Because a whole heap of them we know the Integrity Commission Act. They tell you say over 10 of them can certify. When you have a party, yeah, and 10 members from within that party cannot be certified, then it tell you say it's a team where them run through the party. This is how them operate. They are all bunch of criminals stealing the taxpayers' money and, you know, amassing huge amount of wealth that cannot be, you know, explained. So it become unexplained wealth. And right now, I know that number has exceeded more than 10. We're probably talking about the whole entire cabinet of wealth where them can't explain. So the whole idea Andrew is, you know, coming out and trying to speak for himself in that clip that we're looking at. If you listen, he was frail. His voice was crackled. He wasn't speaking from a point of authority. Yeah, because the question them surprise him, you know. Them surprise him. And when you're being surprised and get caught off guard, you can't even explain yourself. And that's what I was experiencing listening to that tape. Yeah, he was speaking in gibberish, talking all type of shit, going from here, there, and not covering sense. Yeah, what we need is to get this guy relinquish the post of Prime Minister in the country, put him into the system, the judicial system, do a comprehensive interrogation and find out how him get the wealth them and strip him of the wealth. Him need to be stripped and put into prison because you can't just, let him go like that, You're not doing any justice to the Jamaican society if you let go Andrew Holness and Juliet Holness to go free. And the other members them. You have to put them behind bars like any other individual in Jamaica who commit that same type of criminal activity. Yeah, criminal or criminal, it's spelled one way. It no matter where you come from. If you're a criminal, you're just a criminal. And no favoritism shouldn't be handed out or special preferential treatment. It should be right across the board. You're put into the judicial system, you're tried, and we're found guilty, you face the consequence. And it must be a two-phase. You have to steal to take away whatever them steal, put it back into the public domain, and you have to send them go to prison for a long time. You have to give them a time that fit the crime. Because we want to send a message that this act of atrocity must stop in the Jamaica political landscape. You cannot use the political office to demonstrate your high level of thievery. No, we're not condoning such behavior. So we want this thing now because this marvel me, This marvel me. Because I know anything of this sort of nature occurring in the United Kingdom. And one day take before the person lose them job. One day, once it come out in the morning, it resign by a evening. Once BBC broadcast that on the 6 o'clock news AM bulletin, him leave by midday you hear breaking news. Him have to go. But in a Jamaica case, the garbage prime minister did too much years I try fight a case where him can't win. And everybody know him can't win it. Him know him can't win it, but him exhaust the time. Yeah. And that does not sit well. And I mean, the only thing I can blame the king for, I can't blame him for Andrew Holness high level of criminality and corruption. No. Because Jamaica is a sovereign nation. What I blame the king for is for having as part-time king council, fully knowing well, same as a criminal. Now if the king strip him of that, and state the reason why him strip him of that, as head of the Commonwealth, then at least that would have put some pressure upon this criminal, and everybody now would have start move at him. But once you have the international community remaining silent, because people in Jamaica can't fight for him corruption, would the man ring fence corruption post around him, hard for it get breach, And one man will the key right now, a Paul Buchanan. A Paul Buchanan have the key to Andrew future and Andrew time in politics. And we are asked him, how long shall the Jamaican people wait for the showdown date with you and Andrew in the Privy Council? And one thing you have time to do and you need to do that is to change. Is to change your lawyer, the Arakwashi, wild guy. You need to move him and put ISAT. Once you put an ISAT around you, you can't lose the case, And the case now will take a long time in a Privy Council. An easy wrap up. So Jamaican people right now are depend on Paul Buchanan to bring down the Andrew Holness empire and stop the high-level theft of corruption in the country. We have to get that done. You understand? Yeah, and we are asked Mr. Paul Buchanan deliver that to the Jamaican people. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right, Brother Melting Pot. Let us get into the last two information here. Now, let us show you how Andrew Holness is bare face, right, and doubling down with his criminality. right, and spreading himself all over. Let us show that. Jamaica, look at this. Let me show you this. Here it is, Jamaica. Prime Minister names 4 new ambassadors, special investment envoys. You know who's a part of that? Now, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has appointed 4 new ambassadors, special investment envoys, who he says will play a pivotal role in attracting investment to Jamaica and drive economic growth. Now, I want to watch our people. The 4R businessman Adam Stewart for tourism. Yeah, we can understand Adam Stewart for tourism. Adam has been doing this from God he knows when. I mean, his father, Bush Stewart, and so forth. So we understand that, right? Now, Teresa Roberts for culture and arts, as well as Lyde Carney and myself. Why I said myself? Dushian Savadia. Dushian Savadia is the money launderist for the Jamaica Labour Party, and particularly for Andrew Holness. And this is how brave and courageous Andrew Holness is with the crime. Pushing up Dushian Savadia in everything. And as I am telling people that everything that Dushian Savadia own belongs to Andrew Holness. Jamaica, Dushian Savadia is the face of Andrew Holness. Now, let us go to the next document. Amber Olin Network. Let us go it and show people. Let us show people what we are showing people. Look on Jamaica, look on Amber Olin Network between 2016 to 2025. This is where Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party hiding the wealth. This is who they use to hide their wealth. Look on this Amber Olin Network 2016 to 2025. Look at these people. This is how money go into this. This is billions of dollars in it. Here it is. Not telling any lie. Right? 2018. Right? They start putting money. Right? 2020. Look at it. See, 2020. Right? 480 million. Going up 2021. 1 billion. Look at this. The same COVID period, 2021, 2020 and 2021. Look at that, people. 10 billion. There it is. 10 billion. 550 million. Where Dushian Savadia got money from? You, Dushian Savadia, tell me how Amber Group, what sort of business Amber Group involved in, right? For Amber Group to value 10 billion between, remember, you know, the company exists. Yes, so you started up 2018. And by 2022, you're the max 10.55 billion. Which company in the world grows so fast? Which company in the world grows so fast? Just start and grow so fast. This is the man who is laundering money for the Jamaica Labour Party, and see how it move out there? See how the money move out there? Right? 2022, they move out money. See it? So this is a laundry machine, Jamaica. There it is, a laundry machine. 2025, it gone down to 1 billion 700 million. 2026, them clear out most of the money out of it. Most of the money clear out of it, take it away. Now, when you look at this situation, Jamaica, and you see how the money and Dushi and Savadia, and how Dushi and Savadia explain how he had gotten his wealth, the entire world know that he's lying. Dushi and Savadia claim that he had gotten his wealth, right, by borrowing the money, $450,000 US in 2015. Borrow him, saying borrow it. Right? One of his students, as according to him, right? Where the students came from again, Melting Pot, St.
Martin.
St. Martin. That one of his students from St. Martin loaned him $450,000 US. Come on, Jamaica. Come on. So when you look at that, we know that he got the money from Andrew Holness. Right? This is where the Jamaica Labour Party and Andrew Holness dumping money in Amber. So we want Jamaica if you understand that, and see where Andrew Holness, they push him in everything. He's the very same one that write the COVID app. And we understand what happened with the COVID app with people's information, right, being sold on the web. He was not fired, because Andrew Holness can't fire himself, and him now fire himself. But he also now had given ADPEM up, and again committed flaw at the ADPEM up.
Yeah.
There's no checks and balance in ADPEM. And now, again, Andrew making another move up the ladder with Dushi and Savadia. It's a criminal network that need to be stopped. Criminal network. And they don't want to challenge any of us, because they know what we are talking about is true.
Them can't, Byron, them can't challenge you upon this subject matter, you know.
Exactly.
You know, it's a big mama nor nobody. Now straight thing can't come out.
So Melting Pot, you know, wifey and I, right, we have to run out early in the morning. So please close us off. What do you think about this? Just give us your input on this and close us out.
Well, this, you know, a height of criminality. We already established this guy as a money launderer, a guy who wash money for Andrew Holness. And when you say Andrew Holness now, I use him as one of the 4 ambassadors. You have to go out and seek investment for Jamaica. Me have to ask him to Camilla Johnson Smith, what type of role she play? Isn't that she is the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade? Why we are using ambassador like Adam Stewart, Teresa, as and Lloyd Carnegie and Dushan Chavada. Forgot about tourism belongs to Adam Stewart. Him a film business that him no government ministers.
Exactly. You're right.
We have Camilla Johnson Smith. So when you see my family at them 4 names, just look who they there. Star Girl, Dushan Chavada.
All right.
You think of any venture she go pan if you come bring back work and trade to Jamaica? A pack she go pack with money in India. And you can't fool we, you know. 2015, Dushan and nobody in Jamaica broke. Him state that. And who you hear me talk about in St. Martin, at Jamaica, him to talk about. Andrew gave him the 450,000 US. Yeah, for start where them a start. Yeah, because that's some of SSL money, you know. Yeah. That's some of the money from SSL. You understand? Our cash plus are one of them entity money there. Because when you look on it, you know, and you try to go around the citizen of Jamaica in every aspect. This is why when we have high level criminality affair in Jamaica, of whatever circumstance, as the leader of the country, him don't come out and speak. You don't hear him. You don't hear him none at all. These matters does not concern him. Yeah? Because it's a reason why them don't concern him. Him is the pinnacle of theft and corruption in Jamaica. So him now go speak on the subject matter. And you can't have an individual like Dushan Shabadia in a no time leave all a bigger country than Jamaica with stronger economy. Him never make life nowhere else, but him come at Jamaica when I have no economy. And if you watch how them set out them thing, yeah, the Amber Group, the graph of growth in terms of them wealth is the same graph of growth you look on with Andrew as an individual. The same period when Amber shoot up to 10.55 billion at the same time when Andrew make the whole heap of millions them.
Exactly.
You understand? And when you look, because we highlight it, you see where it dropped down to now? Just 230 odd million. The 16th of February gone, 2026. At 230 odd million. This big powerful Amber Group of company, and that them have now, and that them are showing, so the company value. No, if this is not, where has all that 10.55 billion gone? Them need to tell me where it gone, you know. Because this is a new technology company that them create that was doing fantastically well based on the numbers where we see. And all of a sudden now this entity now do no business that the stock dropped from 10.55 billion to 238 million. The 16th of February gone, and that it has state, you know. Now, my Jamaican people, you have to wise up with Andrew do. Whole heap of Jamaica money they overseas. Whole heap of Jamaica money they overseas. And one such country is India. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Well, Jamaica, right? This is where we are going to cut it off because, you know, we have to run in the early morning. We do apologize for the short stint, but nevertheless, right, we have to come out and do what we have to do, right? We want to say a big thanks again to support us, right? And let me just hand over to Wifey for her to close this out.
Okay, guys, thank you as usual, and have a wonderful and blessed Easter weekend, Easter long weekend, and keep blessed and safe travel on the gravel. Until next time, bless up.
All right, Melting Pot. Link it tomorrow. All right.
All right.
So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right side of the argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.